Wellington administrators and staff are working hard to embed visible learning into the culture of USD 353 schools. This is part 2 as admin measure perceptions of visible learning, CHAMPS, and MTSS in schools. This month, administrators visited Wellington Middle School and Washington Elementary. Visible learning includes a meta-analysis of evidence-based practices that help us to determine which practices are most effective. We have been focusing on strategies that have an effect size of 0.4 or higher so that students can achieve maximum growth throughout the year. Our first stop was Wellington Middle School. We were able to visit 6th grade core classes, which included Danielle Rangel teaching 6th grade math, Christy Whaley teaching reading, Ryan Jenkins teaching social studies, and Jerry Ann Fike teaching science. Teacher clarity includes clarity of organization, explanation, examples, guided practice, and clarity of assessment of student learning. As we walked both through WMS and Washington Elementary, efforts to improve clarity were visible. Learning intentions and objectives were written in words that students could understand. Clarity has an effect size of 0.75, which means that it is well above the zone of desired effects, which is at 0.4. We saw evidence of student-centered teaching, which means that student needs are the first consideration in course design. It also refers to practice that requires students to assume a large share of responsibility for conducting inquiries, applying knowledge, and making meaning of what they. We also saw teaching strategies being used such as Math Talk, which has an effect size of 0.62. Students in Danielle Rangel's class were able to explain their thinking while working problems on an iPad that projected to the screen for other students to see. When moving into Jerry Ann Fike's room, we saw students using concept mapping as they worked together to understand how bacteria continues to live in our environment and why some bacteria is good and some is bad. In Ryan Jenkins' social studies classroom, students prepared presentations over their assigned chapters and engaged the other students with questioning. Reciprocal teaching has an effect size of 0.74. Once our groups had a chance to visit each of the classrooms at WMS, we traveled to Washington Elementary, where the students were working in their MTSS block. Again, we saw evidence of teacher clarity as they posted their learning intentions and answered the why question so that students could relate their learning to real life. Clarity of what the student center rotation schedule was, as well as expectations of behavior on CHAMPS posters, were also posted. We saw students working in small cooperative groups, solving problems and completing tasks on their own. Cooperative learning has an effect size of 0.59. Vocabulary work enhances students' vocabulary and has more impact on their subsequent reading comprehension than teaching them phonics, comprehension strategies, or placing them in a reading recovery program. This has an effect size of 0.67. Classroom discussion has an effect size of 0.82. We watched Jamie Lowe work her magic with her kindergarten class as they had a class discussion on the floor. The West first grade teacher utilized the hallway to provide formative assessment for her students. Formative assessment has an effect size of 0.90. This type of assessment is designed to provide immediate, explicit feedback to help teachers and students to know what skills are missing and what instruction still needs to take place. We watched Gina Schnelly work with students using the Wilson Reading Resources, which are generally for students on Tier 3 who need a lot of extra help. Liz Aguilar works with her smaller MTSS group. We are so proud of the work that our teachers and students are doing. We're also proud of our principals and each other's schools. Thank you for all of your support as we continue to learn and grow and to be leaders of innovative, future-focused, real-world learning.